Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. The reason you see me.
We're learning more about those indicted and what the FBI is calling a drug trafficking conspiracy. Hello, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Greg Hurst is off tonight. The indictments include more than a dozen Mississippi law enforcement officers accused of taking bribes while helping criminals. WREG's Brian Didlake has been following the story and has the latest.
We're here today to talk about some incredibly serious allegations that mark it's just a monumental betrayal of public trust.
Clay Joyner announcing the indictment of 14 Mississippi law enforcement officers and 6 others. 2 of those indicted sitting Sheriffs Milton Gaston of Washington County and Bruce Williams of Humphreys County, all defendants facing federal drug and gun charges.
I think you could probably characterize it as a sting, but again, the original complaints that began the investigation were from drug dealers.
Drug dealers who officials say complained about having to pay bribes, the highest more than $30,000 according to investigators. The Mississippi officers mentioned in the indictment promised to provide safe passage of narcotics throughout the Mississippi Delta region.
Wow, guys, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Man, look like we got us another situation, man. Earlier, last night, they still were gathering them in, man. They look like Mississippi got some big problems down there, man. A huge RICO going on with I don't know if it's a RICO, it's a drug racketeering, same thing they blaming non-law enforcement for. FBI all over it. OG, you there?
Oh man, it's Mississippi burning all over again.
Man, I'm trying to understand, because OG, when I look at this list, it's looking like a lot of people that look like you and I. But I was being optimistic when I called you about this, because I said it have to be some guys that don't look like us in this group. And you said something real fly to me, and I kind of got offended about it. You know what I mean? Like, why are you thinking that some of these folk could be people that don't look like us? Clear people.
It's always, wait a minute. You see, what you feel, if you don't get your head out the sand and start realizing that these Negroes didn't come up on this just one day, well, we're going to accept bribe. They learned it from good white folks. And they were sitting by, like the spook is sitting by the door, and they've been watching these white boys take bribes, and they started with, y'all got a gang of them speed traps in Texas, and you go through a certain spot, and they take you to the damn judge at 2:00 in the morning. You give them $500. Just, this is what they've been doing, this kind of practice. And, you Negroes start forgetting you black and start thinking you can do what white folks. So them 2 sheriffs out of them little bitty corn-fed town got approached by good white folks that they didn't know the difference, that they was Mexican cartel. They told them that FBI agent told them that they was Mexican cartel. How did that sound?
Gee.
You the police.
They got caught up, They definitely, I don't know if it's the pay or something had to trigger them. These 2 police officers, sheriffs, Mississippi law officers got caught up trying to figure out a way to keep some income going. But there's a large amount of cocaine that's being spoken about. And the people who was indicted was Brandon Addison, Javery Howard, Milton Gaston, Turner Grayson, Bruce Williams, Sean Williams, I don't know if they relative, Dexter Franklin, Wendell Johnson, Amber Holmes, Marcus Nolan, Ashawn Roach, Jeremy Sellis, Toria Chaz Wiseman, Pierre Lakes, and Derek Wallace. These are the one. These are the people that they have brought this, filed this charges against, criminal cases.
The chief of police, the sheriff, he ain't making more than $50,000 a year. And you see people coming through and the FBI busting dudes going from Memphis through the Mississippi Delta, and you sitting there on the sideline watching the feds and the DEA take 200,000-300,000, 50 pounds of cocaine. You watching this, and you seeing them on the side not reporting all the money. Man, you know how thirsty y'all get.
Okay, so I mean, because when you look at this, what do they usually do with the drug money and the stuff that they, accumulate? Think about that for a minute. Are they putting it back in the streets? Is what you thinking?
They've been recycling. And I remember back in the day, way back in the day, in the 70s, me and one of my, he and my partner, he was one of my mentors, and first gave me my first $10,000 after I got out of penitentiary for selling dope for doing a murder robbery for nothing. And I hadn't seen $10,000 at one time in my life. And Eddie put me together and sent me to New Jersey. And he was selling heroin and cocaine. And we went to Miami to do a deal, and Eddie had like $200,000, right?
Right.
And when we were in the room when we was walking up at the Holiday Inn in Miami, and when I was walking up, I see these two white boys. They looking different, they just ain't fitting in. And as we going up the steps, the Colombians, they get in the elevator. I get in another elevator. The police go up. These two police, they go up the step. Two DEA agents. I see them running up the steps. I jump in the elevator and go up to the room and tell Eddie, man, something going on. By the time we in there talking, they kicking in both doors, our doors and the Colombians' doors.
Man.
Eddie got two duffel bags with $200,000 in it. Dade County arrested us. The DEA took the Colombians, right?
Right.
And we sitting down in the jail. This big old Dodge commercial sheriff come up and say, hey, you boys, what are you boys doing down here? You're down here with these narcotics. He said, do these narcotics belong to you? Eddie told him, no, they're not mine. He says, those are not your narcotics. You're not doing, like, no, sir. Then he says, well, if them narcotics ain't yours, that money there, who do that belong to? Eddie told him, I don't know. He said, you boys from California, I'm going to give you 10 hours to get out of my city. He opened that back door. I'm in the position, let's just go to prison because they're not going to kill me in the South. And he told me, come on. We jumped in that Cadillac and drove all the way back to California and left them crackers with $200,000.
How much was it, OG?
$200,000.
Left them with that $200,000. It wasn't worth it.
That was 1978. So they was taking folks' money and Negroes is watching at 2025, and we think we white folks. We can do
that. Is
but getting
true.
Indicted.
That's so dang true. Now everybody, them boys done shut that whole system down to stop these brothers from doing what they doing. Let me listen to this. Getting money. Hold on. Watch this.
Now, while 14 of the defendants were local law enforcement officers in Mississippi, 6 others were indicted as well. WRG digging deeper found out that those arrested were in Shelby County as well as northern Mississippi. Documents show those 6 civilians committed crimes in Greenville, Mississippi. However, all had addresses in Memphis, South Haven, and Horn Lake. Investigators identified the group as the investigation expanded.
Well, that's what we internally refer to as the Memphis crew, because when those drugs got to the state line, those folks were recruited by someone who's already in the conspiracy.
For the officers and sheriffs who were being investigated, were they suspended at any time during this investigation?
Essentially, no. We did not make an approach to have them suspended because that would have absolutely identified the fact that an investigation was taking place.
Investigators say they hope these arrests turn into convictions so justice can be served.
What the public needs to see, I think what all of us would want to see whenever you have any kind of corruption that we're dealing with, is accountability. And that's what the next step is delivering accountability.
In Oxford, Mississippi, Brian Ditlake for your news leader, WREG News Channel 3.
Wow. So it's basically accountability for those guys, but I don't think that the buck stopped there. I think it was more things going on. I think there was other people involved. It went higher up than the guys that was doing it. Because I just don't see these boys being in no leadership role to where they would have even did this without. Because they talked about on the earlier edition when I was looking at it, where politicians was being groomed and all type of stuff was going on. And I just don't think it ended with just brothers like we're seeing on the screen. I really don't.
But Boss Talk, we just witnessed this very same act of a conspiracy in a RICO last week with the NBA, and it was all black people.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
We just went through. We thought it was going to be some high up officials. I was with you with hope. I heard when you shot me the information, I was just like believing in Christmas. Santa Claus was getting ready to get it. And we turned out, and everybody in that indictment looked like us, huh?
Yeah, and this is happening more frequent than none. I mean, like, it's definitely a thing where it's an anticlimactic event. Every single time, it's people that look like you and I, and the buck stops there.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody else getting it. Nobody else getting. Why? And I don't understand why people don't wake up and see it for what it is and try to. Why can't we have unity in the community when it comes to us, OG? Why can't we stand together? What is the problem?
The problem is that them two sheriffs that was arrested, and the other 10 of them, that everything that they did more to their own people than they did to anybody else. You can believe that.
Wow.
They were flunkies for white America in that, just like what's your girl out of New Orleans that works in Walmart?
Susan Hutton, and she don't work in Walmart.
One of my homies just told me.
Whatever, OG. Get that dark web crap out of here.
So you have to understand, we have such a betrayal when it comes to us dealing with us. And then anybody lighter than us can come and bring a bag with a gang of shit in it, and we'll stick our hand in it every time just because they don't look like us.
We have to find a common denominator when it comes down to understanding what's happening to us. And we have to react in a different way than what we've been doing over all these years.
You know what made blacks successful before us?
What's that?
They understood they were slaves and the white man was the slave master, and they worked accordingly. Now, you Negroes think you free. You think you white folks.
And then when something happened, it always rolled back to the Plymouth Rock thing. It landed on us type deal. It every time land on us.
Not just us, just us.
It's crazy because these guys been on the force for over a decade.
And you saying right now, they've been there in here in 2025 with all this automation. You ain't woke up yet to what you let somebody come at you and trip you up outside of your cocoon and put you in harm's way, and you accepted it.
And I'm talking about dudes some of them been on the force for 2 decades, 3. These folks been down there, they put their whole career, and I don't see them sacrificing that without some kind of guidance and leadership. I think it's more to it than what we're seeing. And every time it seems like the buck stops there, just like in the NBA. You know that there was more people involved. You know that they've been gambling forever. This ain't nothing that just started, but it's the select few that they decide, I'm going to make these the scapegoats. Like back in the days, we got to have some scapegoats.
There you go with what they call the so-called Willie Lynch letter and how to keep a slave in order. And you torture when you start getting the leaders the athletes, it scares the average Negro to death. Now you better tell the good white man, well, everything you do. Everybody talk about Uncle Tom, but Uncle Tom was not the enemy to the field Negro. It wasn't Uncle Tom, it was Sambo that was out there with him.
So
He sold you out for some pancakes.
do you think that, where did this come from though? The telling part there, it talked about a lot of inmates that had already been previously locked up 2 years ago. And I think that's telling us, when I read that article earlier, when I was reading it to you, that it came from a branch of people that already had been busted, who was working with the people to try to figure out what was going on in the city. But again, I believe they go so far up, and when they get to a point to where it starts to affect people that don't look like us, then that's why they stop and say, we'll stop right here. And they can decide to keep going up, because I think it's a pernicious infection that these people are experiencing when it comes down to, and I don't think it stops at just people that look like us. I think it goes all the way up the streamline of officials past us, but they can decide to stop and rule it however they want to. I really believe that. I don't think they got a gauge and it's set for us. Cause I'm reporting on this stuff all the time now, and I always try to give the benefit of a doubt to make it. And I don't want to agree with you ever, really. But when it comes down to the color thing, it's kind of like, dang, man, I've been looking and hoping to get this thing to where I can tell, OG, it ain't always about color. It ain't always, why you got to make it about, now certain things you jump off the ledge on. But here with these officials, it's really getting to irk me.
It's always about color. They've been telling you that since you was in kindergarten. When you talk about facts, what do they say? It's black and white.
Yeah. But it's just a very, 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 it's annoying when you see the buck stop here or the buck don't never move toward nothing else. We can't, there's not one other person over these guys that knew about this. These guys go way up in ranking. These guys are dealing with a lot of upper officials and nobody else, only they did it within themselves. Man, I don't know about this one, OG. I just don't know about this one. This one here is irking me. But at any rate, man, guys, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I just want to say, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. Download Boss Talk 101, guys, and I don't know. I'll fit you something in here. It's just I'm annoyed. I'm very annoyed with what's going on with what we're seeing now. I can't deal with the fact of we got to do better, man. I don't understand why we don't see this stuff coming a mile away, and all our people are being influenced every day. Check out this next one. This clip should be right here with, a rapper was arrested for RICO, of course. That's everywhere in South Carolina. Black Zach.
Yeah. For a little bit of weed. Now, the weed is legal all over the state, but in Carolina. And they didn't but Zach got a couple of murders. So
I seen that too, OG. I'm listening to you. I'm trying to figure out where you going with this, because it was a little more than just.
Let me say, Zach was just slinging weed. He was burying folks. So.
Oh, man, shout out to Rennie Rucci, man. That's my. I like old Rennie Rucci, man. Rennie Rucci got.
You be watching a lot of love and hip hop.
Whatever, man. Boss Talk 101, man. Make sure you guys watch this next interview or review right here, man. Reviews.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see me.